Hello friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I would love it if you would subscribe and tell me something about you in the comments. Anyway, today I am working on this wreath again, this wreath sampler, and it's nearing the end of October, so I'm going to do a harvest wreath, and then I think I'm going to start into the winter wreaths to finish up the sampler. So that's what I'm going to do today, and I'm going to kind of stitch and go. I pre-did this part just so you don't have to see me doing boring branches all the time. So I think I'm going to start with I'm going to do a 3D effect. So right now I'm going to just stitch some wheat, and that won't be 3D, but I've got 6 strands of floss here, and it is DMC 422. So that's what I'm using as the wheat, and this dark kind of a rust color is DMC 301. So I got some good feedback from the what was it, that Highland Cow, and if I have a chance I will show you that. I'm about probably 50% done. Done a lot of work on it, and so I wanted to show y'all that. But I know that most of my Flosstube series is from this wreath sampler, so I wanted to get back on that with you. But for those of you who are into the cross-stitch Highland Cow, I will keep you updated on that as well and how that's going. So I got what they call stitcher's thumb. It's where it's really painful right in here and in this joint because I've stitched that much. So I've got all these projects going on, and I'm trying to get some stuff done for Christmas. But I told people, listen, your Christmas present may be very, very, very late if I can't get them all done, because, and I thought of all of this 2 weeks ago. Well, I thought of everybody else's Christmas presents really about a week ago. So I'm doing all the girls in our family, I'm doing them all something. So we'll see how it goes. And I would tell you what I'm doing, but they watched this, so I would be giving it away, so I won't be doing it. It's not anything really that y'all would be interested in, I don't think. You probably will. Maybe I'll film some of it and then after Christmas show y'all. Yeah, I may do that. So right now I'm doing this wheat stitch here, and of course it's probably called something different, I don't know. I'm doing this wheat stitch, and then I can't wait to show you what I have planned for the 3-dimensional part. So I got a lot of comments on, if I can find it, this right here. This cotton stem wreath, and this is real cotton. Got a lot of comments on that. And so, and a lot of y'all wanted me to bring back some 3-dimensional type things. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm no expert, but I love to design. What am I doing here? Oh, I did that wrong. Well, let's fix this. Okay, Melissa, be smarter than the piece there. Okay, I did that stitch wrong, but that's okay. I can't talk and chew gum at the same time. So, this is like I said, the last of the harvest, you know, fall type wreath things. Even though this one right here, this borrow stitch wreath wasn't really harvest, but I didn't want this whole sampler to be all, I wanted it to be seasonal, but I also wanted it to be any season type wreath as well. Why do I keep doing that? I'm doing the wrong thing here. And so there we go. So I wanted, just kind of a any day wreath type thing, but it's become seasonal. A lot of it has. So, but it'll be okay. I can't wait to frame it and stuff, but I still have a long way to go before we get to that part. But I love doing these little wreath samplers with y'all because I've got so many ideas to share with y'all on certain techniques and everything. Like I said, I've been stitching for 45, 46 years, something like that. And so I've got all this stuff to show you and all the old ways that we used to do things. And there's so many new ways that I have found interesting. All this new digital stuff, all these cross-stitch, like cross-stitch saga and all that. And I just find that so interesting because we didn't have anything like that back in the day, and I usually don't really follow a pattern. I do for cross-stitch, but for embroidery, I never really follow a pattern. I just wing it and just stitch. But after years of stitching, you kind of do that. But I've also been knitting and stuff like that, and I don't want just one wheat stalk thingy here. So let's do another one. But I've been knitting, and I thought, well, I need to show y'all my knitting and certain techniques, but I do the regular American way. I don't knit continental style, and a lot of people do. I've tried it, but if you've done it one way for a long time, it's hard to switch. And I just find it so much faster throwing over my yarn rather than keeping it up close to the needle and doing it, putting it over with my finger like the continental way. If you knit, you know what I'm talking about. So I don't know. It's kind of like you can't teach an old dog new tricks. You can, but as far as cross stitch, there are so many neat ways, like parking your stitch. We never had that kind of stuff. If we did, I was oblivious to it back when I learned how, and we learned to cross the stitches in the opposite direction that people show you now. And I know it's probably confusing. If you look at my cross stitch videos, you'll see I go from top left to bottom right for my first stitch. Well, everybody usually goes bottom left to top right for their first stitch. But, it doesn't matter as long as all the bottom stitches are going in the same direction. But I'm scared I'm confusing people. But I talked to some other women my age, and they said, yeah, we learned the same way you did. And because all the magazines and everything taught us that's how you go. That's how you do it. And I don't know when they switched it to the other way. I just find that so funny. But I'm learning all these new terms and everything, like parking your thread and everything, which is really a good idea. I love how to park the thread and everything. But nowadays they have this technology that, almost pretty much counts for you and counts your, you don't have to sit there and count, because I cross country stitch, which means if, you know, I have an X across here that's a certain color and the next one's down here, I will bring it all the way down here and do it so the back's not as pretty. So I'm trying to be a more neater cross stitcher, but I like to do all the same color all at once. That way I'm done with that color and then start on the next color, where a lot of people I've noticed on YouTube, they've been liking to do, you know, 1 10 by 10 square at a time. So I thought that was neat. And I also thought about, on my wreath sampler here, doing a cross stitch one. I thought that would be cute. So I'm about to finish up this wheat here. I just wanted a couple stalks. I could probably do 3, but we'll see how it looks when I show you what else I'm gonna do. So, anyway, this is pretty much my Flosstube series, is these wreath samplers and stuff. So, okay, I will tack that down here in a second. So this is what I'm gonna do. Let's see, I'm gonna do this one first. So I kind of fussy cut some things out. This is like a little pine cone, and I'll show you what I'm gonna do here to make it 3-dimensional. It's kind of a appliqué type work, but then it's not, kind of, sorta. So I'm going to start by tacking down part of it. Now, the best way probably to do this is to use some type of fabric glue, but I don't have any. I have some on order, but it's not in yet. So I'm just gonna hold this. I got this stand in the mail the other day to help me so I can show you with 2 hands here what I'm doing. But that way I don't have to, you know, be so cumbersome, and I don't make y'all dizzy with the camera going all sorts of places. So I got this stand that I can just work with and keep this more sturdy for y'all. And I usually don't like to work in a hoop. I know that sounds crazy, but especially for big pieces, I can't work in a hoop very well, because I am a top stitcher, which means I like to sew stitch, which means when I cross stitch, I do everything on top. I don't go down and pull it and then up. I go this way. So, and that, I guess, is from when I used to do needlepoint work. So that's just how I've learned to stitch. So I never really need a hoop, because I need to be able to bend the fabric as I work. So as I'm working, you know, I can sit here and do this and pull it, you know, do this and pull it. In a hoop, you can't do that. So unless you have your linen not drum tight, you have to have it pretty loose. I hope I'm making sense. Sometimes I go back to these videos and I'm thinking, people are probably thinking, what is she talking about? And listen, if y'all ever have any questions on what I'm talking about, no question is too dumb, because I probably dumbify everything here. So, okay, so I'm getting just the side of this tacked down. And most of you, if you've guessed already, put it in the comments. But this is what I'm going to do. I'm taking cotton. So just like this right here, this cotton wreath, and I've got a video on that too, so y'all can go back and look at that. If you want to learn how to do that, that's in my, I think it's in my Flosstube. It's either in that or in my embroidery playlist, but you'll be able to tell because the wreath is right front and center. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to stuff this. So it'll be three-dimensional because it'll be puffing out. And then I have some more harvest stuff that I want to do and show you how I do that. Okay, so I think it may need more stuffing. Let's see. Trying to get it up in there as much as possible, but not to where I can't tack it down. And it's kind of hard to tell, but let me put a little bit more. Let's see if this is the original size that I put in. I wonder if that will work. That's cute. Okay, well, let's work with this, and then we'll see where it goes from there. If I can find my needle. And see if I can tack it down that way. And I apologize if you hear my husband snoring in the background. He is home from work today. He's got a bad infection. They don't know if it's staph, but anyway, he's on a very strong antibiotic. So I have been pretty much being his nurse, and I had to talk him into going to the doctor. If anybody has husbands, they will know, y'all will know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like pulling teeth, trying to get them to go to the doctor. Anyway, I talked him into it, and they said they're glad that he was brought in because the infection he has, and I lost my thing here. The infection that he has is it's a bad infection. So it's like an abscess. And so if it's staph and gets into his bloodstream, that's like a bad thing. Okay, I'm just going to do it this way. And I don't know why I'm whispering. Okay. So this is the tack method, where you pierce through your thread, and that just kind of holds it. Okay, so I think for the rest of this, I'm going to go up, down, and around. So I'm going to go up through the piece and then down. So I'm kind of, I guess you're a whip stitch is what I'm doing around the pine cone. So, and then there's this other way I want to show y'all for the next 3D. So this will be done here in just a few minutes. And I got really excited to show y'all how I do this, because it looks so good once you're done. You know, it's a little tedious at first, but once you get it, you get it. Once it, you know, you tack it down enough, it's, I don't know, this is fun to me. But there's another way you can do that if you don't have cotton balls. And I'm going to show you that next. So right now I'm just kind of pushing in that cotton as I'm working around. Like so. And there you have it. Pretty easy. So what I'm going to do is get this thread back here. So for this next one, I made, don't laugh, I made a little pumpkin, and I had some of this orange fabric. I thought, well, that'll be cute to make a little pumpkin with it. So I have this pumpkin here, and so we have to make that 3D. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to put him over there, and then what I'm going to do is some crazy random stitches. And the reason why is because the stitches will give it enough puff to fill it up. So it's not going to be quite as fat as the pine cone. And really, if I were to redo this, I probably should have done this technique for the pine cone. So the pumpkin would be a lot fatter. So right now I'm just stitching away. I'm just filling and filling and filling and trying to get these stitches up. So this is what you can do to give it more of a puffy look to it if you don't have any cotton with you. So for the cotton stem wreath, this right here, I just cut up the top pieces of Q-tips because I didn't have any cotton, but this would take a lot of Q-tips, so I don't recommend that. But I'm just going to, you just sit here and stitch away, and you're making, and this is 6 strands, so you're just making layer upon layer to give it some depth, I guess. Is that the right word? Give it kind of a filler underneath. So that is my second way to show you 3D stitching. Okay, I think I'm wanting to go right to the end of the thread, and that way and all I'm doing is just over and over and over, going over the same area. And I probably could have gone even more, but wider range. But see, this will give it, I don't know if you can tell here. Let's see if I can turn this. Okay, so do you see, if I go at an angle, you can kind of see the puffiness there, see? And then this has got almost the same, just not quite as much. Anyway, trust me. It gives it, you can really tell in person. It's really cool how that works. But now I thought about what else could I do for the harvest wreath, but I think the wheat and everything will give it enough of what I need. Let's go back through this. I guess I should have done that to begin with. There we go. Okay. And so this, I don't have to tack it down at first and then stuff it on the side because it's already done. And I was thinking about doing some kind of fancy stitch, but I don't think it's going to show with just this one piece. So what I may do is, since I'm coming up here where the stem will be, is make a little stem on the pumpkin and do something. Let's see if we can do something fancy here. Let's do, do we want to do a bullion stitch? I wonder if I should make it thick first and then do the bullion stitch. Well, let's see. Oh, I don't know if I want to do that. I know what I'm going to do. Because a bullion stitch is, I mean, it's pretty and everything, but it's not the look I want to go for. What I just want kind of like a jagged type of stem here. Am I making sense? I hope I'm making sense. Okay, I'm going to connect it here. And, you know, I could stitch this way. That would be a lot quicker, Melissa. Okay, what? I want to do like a little curly Q. Let's do a little curly Q. So let's start this way and curl it up this way. If I wanted to get really fancy, I could curl it with my scissors and stuff, but let's just do this for time's sake. See, I like to create as I go, because that's just how I roll. That's the fun of these, and I need to do a live video with y'all so we can chat, and I'm not the only one talking. Okay, so we got a little curl going. Let's do more layers here. See, I'm just working with one stitch because I was just going to use this as to kind of base this down, but I think it's going to work out in the long run. Let's curl this a little more, shall we? So I'm going to go around this way. Let's see here. I always do this. There we go. Okay. So let's take it back to this point. And to curl it, we're going to go up here. And then down, and we're going to go this way and around this way. Let's pull that up. And then this way. And then down up this way. So I'm trying to go like this. Let's go up around this way. And down. And then we'll take it almost to the stem and go around this way. And then let's make it like a little hook. Let's make one more little hook here. And then we'll finish our pumpkin by tacking it down, the rest of those filler stitches. Okay. Gotta have one of those little curly, whimsical things, right? Okay. So I think with this, instead of worrying about getting too fancy, I'm just going to kind of do a running stitch through here. There we go. problem is that's why I need that fabric glue so I can tack it down. So I'm trying to hold this so it's not scooting all over the place and stitch at the same time. So my hand's just going back and forth, back and forth. That was not my purpose. I got this hoop so I wouldn't have to do that. Okay. But I'm such a sewing type stitcher, the sewing method, that this up and down is very foreign to me. Okay. Got that. So see, I could put, at this point, I could put some more of this in if I wanted to make it fatter. Okay, you get the idea. But I don't. I think I wanted to just show you the difference with the cotton. And you can make it as fat as you want. You just keep either doing stitches or just stuff it with more cotton. But that's how you get that 3D effect. You do it both ways, and I just wanted the pumpkin to be a little bit different, dimensional wise. So that stem turned out pretty cute, didn't it? I kind of like that. From my angle anyway. Okay. So, and then I wanted this to be kind of in front of the wheat, which I accomplished that. Okay. So let's see the big reveal here. See if we can see this. Okay. So there we go. Can you see it? It's just enough puff. And then this one's a little bit higher. Get this out of the way for you. Do you see the difference? So it just really depends. Sorry about that. Depends on your thickness and stuff like that. But yeah, this little wreath sampler is going to be, it's turning out pretty cute. I think I have a new favorite. I know I say that every single time. This is turning out pretty cute. See, there's the cotton stem one. If you have a favorite, let me know which one you like. A lot of people like this Boro wreath, and I have a tutorial on that in my Flosstube series. This is cute. It probably needs another acorn, or not acorn, pine cone. I've been calling it acorn this whole time. Anyway, but see, the only other one I have is huge, and pine cones generally are not bigger than the pumpkins, so unless it's a very, very baby mini pumpkin. But yeah, this turns out cute, so let me know which one's your favorite. And I think the next Flosstube series, I will start on probably a more of a winter wreath. And you know what? We may do some different 3D on that. That would be cool. It'll be something closer to this. You'll just have to wait and see. So let me show you real quick, for those of you looking or wondering about my Highland Cow project, how much I've got done. It's a lot. So I got all of this done. And then, do you see what I'm saying? I'm a cross-country type girl, cross-stitcher. So I'm trying to get all the little sunflowers done. But I just really have kind of this much left. Here, I'll show you the back. So see, I've gotten all of that done. See, the only thing about cross country is you got these long pieces, and I don't like that. So, but anyway, but it's not too bad of a back. So, yeah, that's how much I've got done so far. It's a project, but I'll be getting it done. So anyway, thanks for watching, and subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know that you're new so I can go check out your channel. So, okay, I did a little bit more to this wreath. So this kind of looked like it was floating too much. So I added some berries and some little pine needles. And then I decided to do these rust color berries kind of throughout the wreath. So it looks a lot better in my view. So anyway, I had to show that to you. Hopefully you stuck around to see the end of this.